Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today I might piss off a company, not on purpose. This is a me giving a bit of unsolicited, friendly, advice or criticism as it may come across. But anyway, today let's start a cigar. Let's start off with a cigar, and then we'll get into the shit that's probably going to get me in trouble. So let's start with the cigar. I got to scroll through all of my copious notes. I am going to be smoking the, I don't know what to call it. I don't know if I want to call it, if I call it the EPC, the EP Carrillo Allegiance, the Casa Carrillo Allegiance. The name change has kind of thrown me off in terms of like how I call like old ones. Like because I've been sitting on this Allegiance for a little while. So like technically it's an EPC Allegiance, but they're going by Casa Carrillo now. So the bottom line is it's an Allegiance. It's a 6x52 Toro, or Confidant size as they call it. And it features an Ecuadorian Sumatra wrapper with Nicaraguan binder and filler. I am told to expect flavors of nuts, spice, sweetness, and a hint of black coffee in a medium to full-bodied blend. So yeah, and it is a box pressed because, why wouldn't it be? But that's okay. I don't mind that with EPCs. He does a softer box press. I mean, it's not the softest box press I've ever encountered, but it's a fairly soft box press, and it's okay. I'll live with it. Anyway, time to cut the cigar, and the official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and awesome customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. They do carry a Casa Carrillo, and tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. Remember, that's the number 2, guys. Number 2, guyscigars.com. Anyway, all right, time to cut the cigar. I'm excited. Oh, there we go. I'm excited. I put 2 and 2 together today. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm recording this one kind of late on Thursday night because I didn't know what the hell I was going to talk about. I had no clue. And I had a few things cross my desk today. And those 2 things added with a third thing resulted in a little bit of A plus B plus C equals show topic. So I'm excited. But let's get this guy lit because I want to get the cigar going. So while I do that, you guys are going to hear the greatest commercial you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame.
Well, I don't know, 'cause what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino Corojo.
Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused.
I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat.
Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard.
Yeah. All right. Now, let's get to the topic in hand. So, I'm smoking a Casa Carrillo cigar because they made some news today. Casa Carrillo announced a new collector's box initiative. Casa Carrillo is launching a 3-cigar collector's box exclusive to participants in its social media ecosystem, and these cigars are awarded through contests and sweepstakes rather than sold in stores. It's their social media cigars. It's like they've got like a little thing, it's social media, and they got a little EPC, little Ernesto popping up, looking over the edge of the thing. It's kind of cute. I like the branding. It's unique one-off blends. The box features 3 cigars created specifically for this project. None will be part of regular rotation or regular production or widely available, making them truly limited. Each cigar has a distinct blend and tobacco profile designed to showcase different aspects of Casa Carrillo's blending philosophy. So it's a little box. You get 3 cigars in it. I think 2 of them are Toros. One of them is Toro shaped, but it has like a little pointy head. So it's going to have like not a torpedo, but like almost like a little pointy torpedo head. Oh, here we go. Blend details. Blend number 1 is Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper with Connecticut broadleaf binder, Nicaraguan and Dominican filler. That one is a Toro. Blend 2 is a Mexican wrapper with Ecuadorian Habano binder, Nicaraguan and Dominican filler, and that's the one that's presented as that's Spanish. Pyramide. It's got the pointy top. Blend 3 is an Ecuadorian Habano wrapper with Mexican binder, similar filler blend. So we're talking a Nicaraguan Dominican filler. And all are 6x52. So again, Toro. Launch and engagements. Official event launch. There's going to be a live digital event on January 26th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time on the Casa Carrillo YouTube channel. They're going to unveil the project, share each blend story, and the campaign will span engagement-driven activations across Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube throughout the year, giving fans multiple chances to secure a box. So in other words, they're going to be trying to engage you on all their different social media platforms in various ways. And apparently, if you play along and you engage with them on their socials, you might have the opportunity to win these social media cigars. The release is designed to reward social media engagement, build stronger direct connections with fans, and showcase Casa Carrillo's craftsmanship and narrative storytelling. So there you go. Casa Carrillo has announced this social media cigar. 3 of them, in fact. It's a 3-pack. 3 different blends. I mean, it's ambitious. But that leads me to the other article that I saw, where a couple studies have been done. And these studies may not be too great for Casa Carrillo's design here. Basically, the come away from these studies says that a majority of Americans are intentionally reducing screen time, and many report feeling happier and more grounded as a result. About half of the people surveyed are setting aside deliberate screen-free periods each day for their well-being. Despite growing up with smartphones, 63% of Generation Z now intentionally unplug, which is the highest rate amongst all age groups surveyed. Millennials are at 57%, Gen X 42%, and Boomers 29% follow behind. I would actually make an argument that the older the generation, probably the less screen time in their day they're giving themselves just to begin with. Like, I would imagine that your average boomer is participating in screen time way less than your average Gen Z person. So that 29% that they're cutting back might equal quite a bit. You know, it might reduce that time quite a bit especially balanced out with the 63% from the Gen Z. Anyway, whatever, you get my point. People report that much of their time online leaves them feeling disconnected or lonely rather than truly engaged. Common negative feelings linked to heavy screen use include feeling overwhelmed, feeling anxious, irritable, and dissatisfaction with life. How people are unplugging. Many are adopting analog lifestyle habits to create natural boundaries, such as writing in notebooks, reading printed books, using paper calendars and planners, playing board games and doing jigsaw puzzles, using physical alarm clocks and watches, and writing letters and engaging in hands-on hobbies. In other words, guys, we're going back to the good times. We're moving away from all this digital shit that's going on, and we're going back to handwriting a letter and a card, and we're reading a book, and we're playing board games and puzzles, and this is and whatever. This is great. So they're doing this. And in fact, the article even talked about how some people are straight up designing rooms in their house, or like if you have like a he shed, she shed kind of thing, they're designing them specifically to be analog. They're taking away all the screens out of these rooms, and they're forcing themselves they're creating this space where they are essentially forced into not having screen time because there's no screen in there. And they can go in there and they can read and they can journal, or they can do a jigsaw puzzle, or, in my case, I could go in there and smoke a cigar and do whatever I wanted. And that's the kind of thing apparently folks are doing. They're actively finding ways to cut screens out of their life, which, if you recall, was one of my 2026 New Year's resolutions. I wanted to reduce my screen time in half. So I'm apparently in the norm, I guess technically I'm a millennial, which I think is, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, it's weird. I'm depending on where you look, I'm either on the very, very, very ass end of Gen X, or I'm a millennial. It varies, but either which way, 57% or 42%, I'm in those percentages of people that are wanting to cut back. Offline activities that benefit well-being. Reading physical books is especially popular, with many planning to read more in 2026 because it makes them feel more relaxed, mentally stimulated, grounded in the moment, and offer online choices grounded in the moment. Other offline choices include face-to-face time with loved ones, outdoor activities, and hobbies. People are developing their lives. They're starting to develop their lives and do something other than just sit with a friggin' screen in their face and worry about what some jackass somewhere on the internet is saying about something else. I think it's amazing. This was a very, very hopeful article to me. The unplugging movement reflects a broader shift towards mindful, slower ways of living that prioritize quality over constant connectivity. I've been putting this out there for years. We are way too connected. The human brain is not. We're tribal creatures. We have our tribes. We're not designed to experience and to take on the opinions of the totality. We're supposed to be in our tribe. We're supposed to get the opinions and the thoughts and feelings of our small little group. We're not. This is why people, when they go viral, they like lose their freaking mind. They're not designed to take on that much opinion and information. I think this is wonderful. I think it's great. Not great. Not great for Casa Carrillo. I'll say that much, not great to be entering into the new year with a digital exclusive initiative when a plurality of people depending on the generation, are reducing down their screen time. That doesn't help at all. So you got that problem. But then there's another problem for Casa Carrillo in this whole digital initiative that I'd like to point out to him. And I talked about it a little bit on the last show. I think it was the last show. Yeah, the monkeys, goats, and Meta. Well, the anecdotal little stuff is correct. Unfortunately, Meta has increased its scrutiny. Meta, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram, is enforcing cigar-related content more aggressively, reducing visibility through algorithmic suppression, even when posts don't clearly violate written rules. They're coming after us, folks. We've known it's been coming for a while. It's happened before, but this time they're going balls to the wall with it. They're coming after everybody, and they've got AI helping them with it, so it's going really, really easy and quick for them. They have reduced reach and visibility. Even compliant posts can see limited reach, fewer recommendations, lower placement in feeds or explore pages, and it's all driven by automated monitoring and evolving enforcement standards at Meta. They are changing the rules as we go, and they're not benefiting us, the cigar people. Now, this is I've got some strategic content shifts for retailers. That came from an article from PCA, actually. They had some recommendations for retailers because this is impacting retailers. I asked in the last episode, I said, is this just media? If this is impacting retailers, I don't know. It's got to be impacting manufacturers as well, because there's no way on God's green earth that Meta is going to screw with retailers and cigar media and your average cigar bro, but not come after the manufacturers, because let's be real, the people that have the bulk of the likes and the engagement on the social platforms related to cigars are going to be the manufacturers and the companies, because they are the more universal entity in this situation. Your local shop is going to have people that like their page and follow their page, but each individual shop is going to have an audience based upon its own purchasing audience. I'm going to have an audience on my social platform based upon my listening audience, just like the Cigar Authority or, any of the number of other cigar media things. But Casa Carrillo, for example, they're drawing people from all of the different audiences and all of the different retail audiences. And so they're going to have the most people following their pages. And Casa Carrillo and all the other manufacturers. And so there's no way Meta is not screwing with them too. And so going back to this article from PCA, they recommend that retailers should pivot away from direct product promotion and focus more on lifestyle and community storytelling, showcasing events, lounge atmosphere, things like that. Educational content such as pairings, history, and storage tips, as well as behind-the-scenes and experience-based posts rather than overt sales messaging. We're at the point that Facebook and Meta, they've been kind of, against it already, but they're actively enforcing it now. You can't just go and post, hey, we have EPC on sale this week. You have to get creative, and truthfully, it's probably going to result in not even taking a picture of the cigar itself. Oh, here we go. Imagery guidelines. Use lifestyle-focused images, such as pictures of the lounge and the ambiance and everything else, instead of product-only shots to reduce the likelihood of suppression. You take a picture of just the cigar, you're going to get dinged. You take a picture of some guys sitting around having a good chat in the lounge, you're probably not going to get dinged as badly for that. PCA says, expect inconsistent enforcement. If we haven't learned anything from the social media channels, is that, yes, you're never, ever going to win, They're always going to move the goalpost. They're always going to change the rules as they go. And it's going to be, as they put it, unpredictable and inconsistent. Some posts may perform normally while others are restricted with no explanation. And that's just the way of the world. Which brings me back to what I was talking about in the last thing. You got to diversify your communication channels. Now, they're saying because social platforms policies can change without notice, retailers are encouraged to drive traffic to owned platforms such as websites and newsletters, build email lists, enhance in-store communication and community outreach. This reduces reliance on unpredictable social feeds. In other words, guys, the socials are not our friends. They're going to find a way to screw us. They have their own agenda. They have their own beliefs. They have whatever they want. They think tobacco is bad. And they're going to come after all forms of tobacco usage. They don't give two shits about the pot. And again, as I pointed out quite a while ago when YouTube first started screwing with me, I can find a video on YouTube right now where a gentleman is teaching me the best places to sell Coke. But be that as it may, that's okay. Us smoking cigars is evil, and they're going to restrict that. And it's not just YouTube now. It's Facebook and Instagram and all the rest. So, and I've been shadow banned on Instagram for years now. I haven't seen growth on my Instagram account in years. It has been flatlined for years on Instagram, and I know it's because of the cigars. I have straight up... there's nothing I can do about it. I don't know how to even object to it. There's really no proof that it's even happened except for the fact that, like, I've seen literally no growth. So, that tells you all you need to know there. Yeah, basically the best way to combat this is to start getting creative on your own. Which then leads me back to my whole point here. Is this truly the best time for Casa Carrillo to be considering a social media cigar? I think the jury is out. There's the possibility that by doing this, they might find a way to directly almost force engagement. It might be a situation where Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, they may not suggest these, they may not show these Casa Carrillo posts in all of our individual news feeds and things like that. But if we know that there's contests that are taking place all throughout this year, we're going to make a conscious effort to go to that little search function and search Casa Carrillo, and we're going to go directly to their page in order to see what they're posting. That could be one thing that they're hoping will, maybe by doing this cigar or this social media cigar pack, maybe that's their way of trying to combat these algorithmic changes. It's also feasible that this was an idea they had and they just decided to roll it out in 2026, and the universe came along and decided to kick poor Ernesto and his daughter right in the ass and say, no, I don't think it's going to happen. And they now have an initiative that has the headwinds blowing against them. I feel bad because I have nothing against Casa Carrillo. To be honest, if this is coming across as criticism of them, that's not my intention. I'm just kind of pointing out the reality. I like their cigars. I think they make a very fine product. I'd be interested in smoking all three of those cigars. However, woof. When you've got Meta throttling down on cigar content and actively working against cigar content, and when you have your audience itself actively looking to disengage from screen time, and social media obviously is a part of that, that's not great, you know? And to be honest, that's not great for any business that has relied entirely too heavily on screen time and social media. Truthfully, as a guy who owns a terrestrial print newspaper, I'm thrilled at the prospect of screen time going down and people wanting to read actual dead trees in their hands for once. I think that's wonderful, but I understand that a lot of businesses have hitched their wagon to the star of social media and the internet, and they don't want to see that go. You can always take out an ad in my newspaper if you want. Anyway, I that's the thing. I don't really know where Casa Carrillo goes. I think it's going to be, look, we're never going to know if this thing fails. Because they're gonna make sure they get enough of these out in the world that there's enough of a buzz and people are gonna get them and they're gonna post them and it's gonna be a thing and they'll be able to say, oh yeah, we put out all of them and blah blah blah, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. But they'll know deep down they have there's a goal in mind for this. Let's be real. They didn't announce this so that their current levels of social media followers would have something to do for the next 12 months. They did this with the thought that somebody like me would talk about it, Half Wheel would write an article about it, whatever, to where it's like, okay, I don't currently follow Casa Carrillo on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. I'm going to go and do that with the prospect that I might be able to win some of these cigars. They're trying to increase their numbers, which again, I don't blame them for. That would be wonderful. But I just don't know how it's going to all shake out for him. And I will be curious to see. I wish them luck because, like I said, I feel like the headwinds are pushing against him. What do you guys think? Have you guys started cutting back on your screen time? Are you part of the percentages of the various generations that are cutting back, or do you not care? Or are you still engaged? Whatever. Have you noticed cigar content on your Instagram and Facebook decreasing considerably? To where you're having to seek it out. Like I said, I know I got my email from Meta telling me that I'm no longer being recommended and that sort of thing. So, I know they've come for me. And I know they came for the Cigar Authority because Ed Sullivan and I talked about it a little bit. So, it's happened. It's happening. So I don't know. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are. Give me a call on the hotline. Area code 863-874-0000. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report. Brought to you by
Villiger.
Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. I'll say this. The Allegiance, that's the green one. It's the one I'm smoking right now. There's the Encore, which I think is like a copper band. I don't remember the blue one. And then there was the La Historia, which I think was like their first one before. It was like that one, the Encore. I don't remember the blue one. That one also won, I think, Cigar of the Year. And then the Allegiance, the green one. Out of all of them, I found the Allegiance to be probably the most mild. It's not mild, but of all of them, I thought the Allegiance was the softest. Still very good. I think the Encore might actually be my favorite. Truthfully, there was another cigar I was considering smoking tonight. I had this, and then I do have some of the Encore. Is it Encore Dark or Encore Blacks? Couple of those in there, and I have not smoked those yet. I bought 2 of them from 2 guys, and they've been chilling in my humidor this whole time, and I have not smoked either one of them yet. And I thought about smoking one on the show tonight, but I was like, no, going back to my whole, like, purposeful smoking thing, that's one I don't want to smoke on the show. That's one I want to smoke and be mindful about. That's one I want to be, I want to enjoy and actually truly like get into, because I only have two, and I don't think we're getting any more of them. So that's that. So anyway, Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report. So I have a podcast recommendation for you guys, and then we're going to change this up a little bit. We're going to do something a little different with the Villiger Report for a little while. So the podcast recommendation that I have for you, it's a podcast called If You're Into True Crime, and fascinating true crime. This is not like your typical, like, true crime podcast. This is a really neat one. This one's called Killer in the Code. And the premise behind this is that a gentleman who works on cold cases, essentially he cracked the Zodiac ciphers, like the ones that we previously didn't have cracked, including the one where he announces what his name is. I'm not going to spoil anything, but where this gets really weird is that through that, he also finds some really compelling proof. Again, more than circumstantial, like literally, they find some like physical proof and things like that, that the person who was the Zodiac killer also murdered the Black Dahlia. So the Black Dahlia killing and the Zodiac killings, it's all connected. And there's like that period of time between the Black Dahlia murder and the Zodiac murder, or murders, that, you're like, well, what did he do during that? Apparently he was still active. This podcast is still ongoing. The 5th episode just dropped today as I record this on Thursday, the 15th. So new episodes come out on Thursdays. I'm digging the hell out of it. It's super compelling and interesting. And the methodology that this guy used to crack these ciphers is super interesting to me. They have peer reviewed it. They've gone to people that worked for the NSA, like high up cryptographer and code breakers. These aren't like just your average people. They went to the person who worked for the Los Angeles Police Department in charge of cold cases and literally had the Black Dahlia on her docket for her career in the cold case thing until she retired. That was one of her active cases. They went to her and she fielded people left and right with theories and this and that and whatever. And she thought they were all crap until this guy comes along and presents his thing. And now she's convinced he found it. He solved it. It's done. She's convinced. So like there are legit experts in these different fields, be it cryptography or whatever, or the casework itself, that all conclude that yes, this is legit. So if you want a really interesting true crime podcast about two of the greatest or two of the biggest unsolved murders or crimes in the United States or even in history, yeah, you know what? This is a pretty good podcast. So Killer in the Code is the name of it. And I'm digging the hell out of it. The only thing I have an issue with, and I feel very weird picking on this because obviously he can't do anything about it, but the narrator, he kind of just sounds like he's got to clear his throat. That's it. He just kind of has a little bit of a thing that, and I know it's just the way he talks. It's just his voice. And so I feel bad even picking on that. But yeah, he just kind of sounds like he's got to clear his throat. But I'll tell you what, the show's been great. I'm digging it. I haven't listened to episode 5 yet. So I'm caught up on 1 through 4. I binged the hell out of that this past Wednesday, when I was doing my newspaper deliveries, because, I actually watched the Cigar Authority live on Saturday, so I didn't have to like catch it on Wednesday and repeat. So, I had some time, so I listened to that, and it's really compelling, guys. It's really, really good. Now the Villiger segment, as you guys may have figured out, I'm typically super busy. with various things in life. And sometimes I only get a limited amount of time to sit and truly like engage in some sort of entertainment. And it's limited. It's very limited. To where there are times in between recordings of episodes that the only thing I have done in terms of watching anything or engaging in anything is either listening to the Cigar Authority on Wednesdays on my drives or watching wrestling on Wednesday nights. So I don't really have much to talk about on those Friday shows. And so I got to think, how can I do this and mix this up while at the same time giving you guys something to call into the hotline and talk to me about? Because I need calls. I've got a trip coming up here starting like early or mid next week. So I'm banking up Ask the Boys calls or Ask the Pulpit calls because I need to get that banged out before I leave. So if you hear this over the course of this weekend, if you have time, call me because it would be very, very helpful. But I'm going to add this. We're still going to talk about, anything current like I did with that podcast recommendation, but we're going to have this tacked into it too, which is we're going to have desert island picks for a little while. So it's going to be what books, movies, and music you want with you on a desert island. And I'm going to implement a rule right now. We're in the no judgment zone. So if somebody comes at me and says that they absolutely 100% have to have their copy of The Wiz on the island so that they can watch, Little Michael and everybody just moving on down the road, that's up to them. I'm not going to judge that. I figure I'll kick this off and we'll go from there. So again, call me on the hotline, area code 863-874-0000. You can call about whatever you want, but make sure you tack on your desert island picks, books, music, movies. So for round one today, movie, my favorite movie. I like a lot of movies and they're very diverse, but probably the movie that I love the most, and it's just my movie, is 1984's Ghostbusters. I love that movie. There's so much subtle humor in that movie. There's jokes that I found in that movie years and years and years and years after. Like, I'm talking like post 2000. Like, as an adult, I found jokes in that movie that I didn't notice earlier in life. It's just such a great movie. The effects in it are wonderful, especially for the time. I love all the practical effects. The makeup of the team and how they all bring something a little different to the table is great. The acting, Bill Murray is just amazing. As a little kid that started wearing glasses when he was in kindergarten, seeing Harold Ramis as the nerdy Egon with his glasses saving the world, that was kind of a big deal for those of us with glasses who saw that. How can you not laugh your ass off at the concept that the destroyer of the world is a marshmallow man? The whole damn thing is just, it's a hilarious, funny, kind of scary at times, but like fun scary, like happy scary, kind of movie. It's just such a good movie, and it's definitely one of my desert island picks. Like, if I were gonna be stranded on a desert island, and for whatever reason I happen to have a TV and a DVD player, or hell, even a VCR, I would want a copy of Ghostbusters, because I think it would be, I could watch that movie many, many times and not get tired of it. Book. probably one of my favorite books. Definitely my favorite from this author. Is The Andromeda Strain by Michael Crichton. A lot of people go to his Jurassic Park world because let's be real, Jurassic Park, that's a big pop culture thing, and a lot of us read that book, and I did. I got into Michael Crichton with Jurassic Park, but then I kept going. And I found the Andromeda Strain, and it's compelling. It's spooky. It's got a lot of gravitas to it. It's a small story when you really think about it. Like, this meteoroid comes down and this team of scientists go to this town, and everybody in this town is dead except for, I think it was a child. And, They go to their little secret underground, base that confines them in so that the pathogen or the virus or whatever it happens to be doesn't get out. And then there's the different threats that come along with, something getting released. And it's just a super compelling, very scientific, very intelligent book. And there is a movie version. The movie, it's older. It's gotta be filmed in the late 70s. Late 70s, maybe at most, early like 80, 81. But the book, I think, is far superior to the movie. The movie isn't bad. If you don't have the time or desire to read the book, watch the movie. It's actually not a bad adaptation. But the book is just infinitely better. They did make a sequel. I own the sequel. Haven't read the sequel yet. But the sequel came out after Crichton died. So it's one of those things where it's like written by somebody else based upon the notes of Michael Crichton. So like he gets a little bit of credit, but not much. So, and I hate when they're doing it. They did it with Crichton. They did it with, who's the Clancy, Tom Clancy. They did it with a lot of his books, threw his name on a book that he didn't have anything to do with, because they just wanted to keep the train rolling. Cause let's be real, books with his name on it make money. Same with Crichton, I guess. So anyway, but the Andromeda Strain is a great book. It's not a super long read. You can get through it, and it's, like I said, it gets really engaging, and it's a fun book. So, there you go. Now, music. And this is the one I think is going to be, I don't want to say controversial, but music is a very subjective thing. Everybody likes what they like. They don't like what they don't like, and it's fine. It's fine. Different strokes for different folks. And I happen to know that Mr. Ed Sullivan does not like one of the songs on this album. But for me, I would say music-wise, an album that I could listen to fairly consistently would be Phil Collins' No Jacket Required. That was the one that's got his face in red. It's kind of got a reddish tint to it. All of his albums have his face on it, but maybe he's looking straight at, maybe it's to the left, maybe it's to the right, maybe it's down, maybe it's up, whatever. I don't know. This one, it's red. This album has Susu on it, and I know that Ed Sullivan doesn't care much for that song, but that's okay. It's got probably one of my favorite songs, which is oh my God, I'm blanking. How am I blanking on this? I mean, it's this is why I should have notes for this, because I think to myself I can totally go off of the top of my head and whatever. Take Me Home, son of a bitch, take me home. And I was like, it was in my head, but yeah, it has Susudio on it. It has One More Night. It has Don't Lose My Number. It has Take Me Home. What else? But there's some other really good songs on it that don't get a lot of that weren't like the top chart singles, but are still really good. Long, Long Way to Go. Super. It's a good song. It's one of, Phil Collins, like he did a lot of like the I don't know what the word would be. One could argue preachy, kind of like we have to be better kind of songs. I don't know. But this is one of his like ones where it's like, we can do better. We can, whatever. And it talks about, violence, and we have a long, long way to go before we're all loving each other and doing right by each other and all that. Yeah, but there's some really, really good songs on this album, and it's about a 40, according to Wikipedia here, it's right at a little bit over 45 minutes. But Take Me Home is just one of those awesome songs that I just hear it and I'm like, oh, I just, Now, granted, it's funny, you hear it and you think like, oh, he wants to go home. When you actually think about it and listen to the lyrics and everything else, and I've done a lot of reading on this, I think it's about a dude in an insane asylum, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, it's a really good album, and I would totally listen to that over and over and over again. I have it digitally. I have it on he came out with a remastered CD set. So I have it in that. And then I also have the vinyl, the 2016 remaster of the vinyl. So I can listen to it that way too. So I own this album like 3 or 4 different ways. It's kind of ridiculous, but yeah. So anyway, so there we go, guys. There's my initial entry into Desert Island Entertainment. We have Ghostbusters, we have the Andromeda Strain, and we have No Jacket Required by Phil Collins. So, again, what would you bring with you to the desert island? What would be your thing that you would want if you were going to be stranded there? Like what entertainment would you want to have to let the time go by for a little while? So anyway, we're going to start doing that in the Villiger segment a little bit, just to add in some old favorites and mix it in with some of what we're watching now. So alrighty, well, it is Friday, and that means it's time for another Pinky Fun Fact.
Hey, it's your girl Pinky. Ready for a fun fact? Just because you smash the bug doesn't mean it's dead, because cockroaches can live up to 9 days without a head. This has been Pinky, and I'll be back next time with more fun facts.
I don't know how she knows this shit. How does she know that? How does anybody... Have scientists studied how long a cockroach can live without a head? Like, is this something that they've actually put time and effort and research money into figuring out? It's like, let's remove the head of the cockroach and see how many days it can live. 9 days. Makes you wonder if it can go around and start impregnating other cockroaches to I guess they lay eggs. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's live birth. They're not a mammal, but, I don't know. It makes you wonder, can they procreate and make more cockroaches after they've lost their head? I don't know. I guess what my takeaway from that is, if you're going to smash a cockroach, smash it good. Smash it really, really good. Don't just half-ass smash it. Smash it good. All right, guys. Well, it is that time where, ironically, given the topic of this show, I talk about the socials. I am on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I am on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. Hopefully they don't come after that. I would imagine, for God's sakes, it's a private group. I cannot, maybe they'll throttle back how often posts from it show up in your feed. And so you'll have to make it a point to specifically go there and check it out. But, I don't know. I would hope that, as a private group, it would maybe be a little exempt, but I don't know. I don't like relying on these social media channels to get information and engagement out with you guys, because they're going to play their games. I'm on Twitter /X. You can watch this on Rumble and YouTube. And like I said earlier, I do need your calls for Ask the Pulpit. You can give the hotline a call at area code 863-874-0000. That's 863-874-0000. Call in with your comments, questions, concerns, whatever they happen to be. Let me know your thoughts on the Casa Carrillo cigar. Are you going to engage with them more? Are you going to purposely engage with them more, even if the platforms throttle them back in order to win these cigars? Or, are you finding yourself getting off your phones and your screens more often to where you might not see it as much, and that sort of thing? And then also let me know your desert island, picks for the Villiger report. I'm curious as to know, what stuff out there is like so good you can't live without it on a desert island, because I might be missing out on something. And then just to piggyback off of, the ways that we can expand our audiences and make sure everybody gets the information, head on over to cigarpulpit.com. I am doing a newsletter. That's there's a little pop-up box that comes up when you go there, and you could sign up for the newsletter right there in the pop-up box, and it's free. It's not going to come to you too terribly often, maybe once, possibly twice a month, depending, and that'll be that. It'll be super easy. It'll be fun. In fact, this episode comes out on Friday the 16th. The goal, my plan, everything is coming together to where sometime this weekend it will be hitting your inbox. So if you don't want to miss out on getting the first one sometime this weekend, you should go ahead and head on over there and sign up if you haven't already, because it should be hitting your inbox this weekend. And I will obviously be posting to the various social platforms, letting you know that it is posted. So, kind of promoting it and that sort of thing. So, if you see that and for whatever reason it's not in your inbox, check your junk. And if it's not there either, then you probably didn't sign up and you need to sign up. And then, otherwise, I think that's about it. Today is the last day for voting for Cigar of the Year. Parishioners Cigar of the Year. You can go to, there's a pinned post in the Facebook Parishioners group, which has a link to the Google Doc. You can go to cigarpulpit.com. While you're there signing up for the newsletter, go to the very first post. There's an image there that says vote now. You can go there. That takes you to the Google Doc and you can vote there. Go ahead and vote, because as of end of day, Friday the 16th, I'm thinking, let's just be on it, and we'll say like 10 p.m. Central Time. So that's 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 10, 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific. Let's say 10 p.m. Central Time. Voting will be cut off, and that'll be that. And then at that point, I start tallying, and then I start reaching out to the manufacturer who won. And my goal, my plan, my hope, and it truly does all depend on, getting in touch with said manufacturer, getting the schedules to align correctly to make this happen, that sort of thing. My goal is to announce the winning cigar on the Friday, January 30th episode. I'm going to make you wait 2 weeks. I'm sorry. It just has to be that way. Takes a little bit to coordinate with the manufacturers, and also, quite frankly, as I told you, I am going on a trip, and so I'm banking up some episodes, and I can't manage to do that in such a short amount of time to be able to announce that. So you're gonna have to wait, but that's okay. Everybody else is announcing their top cigar of the year right now. Let them have the fun, and then we'll come in the back end and clean up and tell them what the real cigar of the year was. So anyway, yes. Friday, January 30th, we'll be announcing the cigar of the year. And then from there, it'll be all kinds of other fun stuff. February's shaping up. I'm already getting shows figured out for February. I'll have a little bit of information from my trip in one episode. My goal is to talk to Sean, because he will be leaving here any day. to head on down to Nicaragua for the Puro Sabor Nicaraguan Cigar Festival. He won that trip courtesy of our friends over at Villiger at Pulpit Fest. And so he will be going down to the Puro Sabor and hanging out and learning all about cigars in Nicaragua. And I think that sounds like a wonderful time. And so I look forward to hearing all about his trip. And then from there, we'll have all kinds of other fun stuff coming up, But in the meantime, we've got some more episodes lined up. Like I said, I'm hoping that between now and the 30th, we'll have an Ask the Pulpit episode. Here's a heads up for you guys. I'll give you a heads up. Friday, January 23rd is National Pie Day. Okay? National Pie Day. So go to the store, buy yourself some pie, maybe make yourself some pie, whatever you want to do, but enjoy some pie on January 23rd. I know I will be. There's a hint for the episode. And then I don't know what's going to happen on the 27th. And then the 30th, I'll be back and be announcing the Cigar of the Year. So, we've got some stuff cooking. Anyway, it's fun. All right, guys. Well, I have enjoyed the front half of my allegiance. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to finish the back half of this before I go and edit the show. And we'll go from there. But thank you very much for tuning in. And I look forward to talking with you again soon. This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpits. I'm Nick. Everybody, stay safe, stay smoky. Those of you on the YouTube just noticed my extreme surprise when my cigar was still lit. I took a puff from it while the outro music was playing, and my cigar was still lit and still kicking out smoke, despite the fact that I've been yakking this whole time, and it's just been sitting there just dying. So go EPC with the cigar that stays lit, and despite my yakking. So anyway, thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.